900 kilometers on foot. "30 days of solitude. All on one legendary path. Whoa, just unbelievable. I don't even remember the last time I cried like this. I want to tell you about a trail that's been walked for 1,000 years. A journey on foot from the foothills of the Pyrenees to the very edge of the Atlantic. Through mountains, across fields, through villages and cities. People don't walk for records. They walk it for answers, the kind you can't find in any book. This is the path of 1,000 stories. The Camino de Santiago. They say this journey changes everyone who walks it. I hiked 900 kilometers to see for myself. Hey there, Pilgrim. Long time no see. Can't believe it's been 6 months already. Half a year ago, I was right here, just like you are now, all by myself, battling the wind, the snow. Everything was so different back then. Hell, I was a different person. This is where I left the symbol of a pilgrim, a seashell, 6 months ago. Although, this isn't the actual one. I wrote a phrase on it that later became one of my personal mantras. A phrase that completely turned my world upside down. And now, I'm back on the Camino de Santiago. Not to walk it again, but to tell my story. Hope it helps anyone out there still finding their way. To really understand it, we have to go back in time, 1,000 years back. This isn't just any path, it's steeped in history. The Camino de Santiago, the Way of St. James. It stands as one of the world's 3 great pilgrimages, alongside those to Rome and Jerusalem. For centuries, it has drawn countless footsteps. Those footsteps all lead to one place, the cathedral in Santiago de Compostela. Legend says it holds the tomb of St. James the Apostle, one of the very disciples of Jesus. Why did the pilgrims walk? Their reasons were varied. Some sought redemption for their sins, others came to pray, and many embarked on the journey desperate for a miracle or a cure. Back then, the pilgrimage to Santiago de Compostela was a genuine trial by fire. Imagine, no maps, no trail markers, not a single sign to point the way. Pilgrims found shelter within monastery walls or camped right outside them. This very monastery dates back to the 6th century. It's a world away from what we know today. Today, the Camino de Santiago has transformed into a vast, well-maintained network of trails crisscrossing Europe. There are 7 main routes, and 1,000 years haven't changed their ultimate destination. They all still converge on the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela. The crown jewel of them is the French Way. It kicks off in southern France and unfolds over nearly 800 kilometers. This very path has been walked by kings and clerics, artists and authors, all of them seeking a transformation. And honestly, they found it. Take Paulo Coelho. His journey on the French Way inspired him to write The Pilgrimage, a book that went on to define a generation. And that's the path I choose to walk. My own search for change begins here. So, my first trip to Santiago de Compostela happened back in fall 2019. My family and I had been in the US for 3 years and we were ready to move on. I hit up my mentor, this dude I used to travel to India with. Yeah, I'd been on a few of his retreats. I had one burning question for him. What's next? How do I find a new purpose? Life was different now. I was older. I had children. I was in the middle of a real transition. So his idea was to go to Santiago de Compostela. And just like that, 5 or 6 days later, we were driving there together. And even after that quick trip, big things started changing. For me and for everybody else who went. My family decided to build a life in Portugal. We found out we were expecting another child. My business expanded beyond what I'd imagined. New friendships formed, and we evolved into a version of ourselves we hadn't even dreamed was possible. And then, the war started. It turned my entire world upside down, my business, everything. I was completely lost, with no idea what to do next. My life was tied to both Ukraine and Russia, and suddenly, it all started to unravel. It's hard to describe. It felt like everything was spiraling downward, into nothingness. 5 years passed. In the fall of 2024, I went back to my mentor with the same big questions about life. His answer? Anatoly, Santiago de Compostela. But this time, you walk. I'll be honest, I hesitated. Really? Now? It was November. Not exactly ideal walking weather. Maybe I should wait for spring? Right after that call, I stepped out of my hotel in Berlin. And there it was, a sign for Santiago de Compostela. The scallop shell, right there on the street, just 5 meters away. All my doubts vanished instantly. I knew. I'm going. When? I'm going in 1 week. So, just as I'd planned, I set off on the Camino at the end of November. I still had 800 kilometers ahead of me to reach Santiago de Compostela. I'll never forget that first day. I walked into the Pilgrims office in France to check in.
Bonjour.
You have to register. Your name, where you're from, show your passport. And I'm looking through the logbook, seeing all these names and signatures from all over the world. I see the Netherlands, South Korea, Poland, a few others I can't recall now. Then I pull out my passport, my world citizen passport, the one that means the most to me. And in the column for country, I wrote citizen of the world. Not Vanuatu, not Ukraine, not the long-gone Soviet Union, not even Portugal where I live now, just the world. That's my reality. It felt like claiming my own personal truth. I made sure to mark that moment. And that last shot of me walking into the distance, that was it. The camera crew stopped there. From that point on, I was alone. I silenced all my phone notifications, cut off from the world, just to be completely present with myself. So, what's the Camino de Santiago really? Let's be clear, it's not a tourist hike. It's not just a physical trail for pedestrians or cyclists. This path is about something deeper. It's a spiritual journey. It's about transforming your life. It's about discovering who you truly are and learning how to understand that person. Why is it so effective? Because you walk alone. You're left with nothing but nature. And in my case, the weather shifted constantly. I experienced all 4 seasons. Through the snow. It feels amazing. Honestly, it felt like the only things missing were an earthquake and a tsunami. I even saw trees that had fallen right before my eyes. You're just walking along, and then out of nowhere, boom! There was one moment I'll never forget. I was completely drenched after walking for 8 hours non-stop. The rain is completely horizontal, 100%. It's turning to sleet, still freezing though. Me in the past, seeing rain, refusing to get out of my car to walk like 5 steps. My brain would short circuit. Where do I even park? Total meltdown. Cut to now, I'm in this downpour, and I'm so ridiculously happy, I could just yell. Here's the magic of a trip like this. You stop feeling the weather. You just blend into nature. You become part of it. When you're out there by yourself, no scrolling, no calls, no grand plans. You just forget about yesterday and tomorrow. You are completely in the moment. And when you're in the moment, you just enjoy it all. This journey, it changes your wiring. It's not about fighting it anymore. It's about going with the flow. It teaches you to live simple. You learn to love being warm. You savor your food. You enjoy the quiet. You get happy about the stuff you already have, even the little things. I'll just leave my little stone.
Buen camino!
Once upon a time, the pilgrims of the Camino de Santiago walked with a cross in hand, a prayer on their lips, and bare feet on the ground. Their path began at the doors of a church. Their goal, a profound one, absolution. Today, a new kind of pilgrim walks those very same trails. You'll see them with modern backpacks, trekking poles, and the most comfortable hiking shoes you can find. The traditional greeting, hello, is replaced with the wish, buen camino.
Buen camino.
Buen camino.
Buen camino.
Buen camino.
Buen camino siempre.
Buen camino.
Buen camino. Buen camino.
Buen camino.
Buen camino.
Hola, buenos días.
Buen camino. Buen camino.
Santiago! Buen camino!
As I walked, I was fortunate to cross paths with incredible people from all over the world.
Anatoly. Have a good trip.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, thank you.
Nice. Oh, this movie?
Yeah.
For the majority, the motivation is no longer strictly religious. Each person carries their own unique story.
For me, walking the Camino is about finding who I truly am.
It's a test of your own limits to see how far you can push yourself. Because on the Camino, you're faced with some kind of challenge every single day.
I would like to walking and find maybe myself. It's be more connect by myself and by the moment present, you know.
5 months ago, I'm divorced. So many thinking in my head. So I want to clean up my head.
Looking for answer. The question is what to do. We always make money. We are everywhere, but it's not happiness. Money is not happiness.
I'm Katie, and this is Dan, and this is Baby Aurora. We're walking to Santiago to keep having adventures. Bring Aurora on one of her first adventures.
For no reason, I just decided to come, then I called. Hopefully, I'll find out the meaning of the whole journey.
People now walk the Camino to escape the relentless noise of modern life, to force a slowdown, and to find a rare silence in which to hear themselves think. Some seek life's purpose, others creative inspiration. Some walk to honor someone they've lost. Others purely for the adventure. Yet despite their different reasons, they are all united by the same great road. So, how does a modern pilgrim's journey actually begin? It starts with the pilgrim's passport. Its official name is the credential. Seriously, the coolest passport I've ever held. Every day, you collect stamps in it, from churches, hostels, even little cafes along the way. Slowly but surely, it transforms into this incredible scrapbook of your entire trip.
Muchas gracias.
Historically, this was your official pilgrim ID. It granted you free stays in monasteries. Today, it's more about honoring that tradition, and it's your ultimate proof that you did the whole walk. And you don't need the stars to guide you anymore. Why? Well, first, there's an app for that. Several, actually. And second, the path is literally marked with yellow arrows and scallop shell symbols. They're everywhere. Signs everywhere. I swear, every second building has one. So, where do pilgrims actually sleep? A lot stay in these places called albergues. They're basically pilgrim hostels. And get this, some of them are inside sacred monasteries. This one right here, it's stones laid in the 6th century. At the door, almost everyone takes off their shoes. But one thing's clear, everyone who walks in here does it with love. I'm sure of it.
Buon Camino.
This place is actually stunning. I know it's a hostel, but I would stay here. Absolutely. Just thinking that this is a monastery, that people have been finding shelter here for over 1,500 years. It really takes me back to my own Camino. I crashed in a few hostels too. Honestly, I lost count. 3 or 4? When there's no other option, you take what you can get. Well, this was the only thing available. Guess I'm sleeping here. So yeah, this is where I'm crashing tonight. Tonight's spot, right here. It's actually pretty nice. Back then, the hostels were practically deserted. I had a few of them all to myself. No one else around.
You'll be alone. Only you. Okay, yeah? Oh, wow.
It was the off-season after all. These days, over half the beds are full. Anyway.
Buon Camino, buon Camino.
What did I enjoy? I stayed in basic hostels for 10 euros a night. I've also been lucky enough to sleep in absolute luxury. I've even stayed in places with jacuzzis. And let me tell you, after hiking 30 kilometers and coming down from a snowy pass, sliding into that hot tub was everything. Oh, this is pure bliss. 20 minutes in this jacuzzi after the freezing cold mountains. Incredible. And this place is gorgeous. Sometimes I'd end up at this amazing hotel right by the Cathedral of St. James. Good luck booking a room there in summer, by the way, when it's high season.
Oh my god, it's my room. Oh wow!
It was so gorgeous and calm. Honestly, it felt like I was staying in some ancient monastery. I always decided where to crash around 3 or 4 p.m. No advance bookings for me. Because how did I know where I'd be, or if I'd even feel like going a different way? That's the freedom of the Camino. I was free from the usual plans and schedules that define everyday life. My entire focus narrowed down to just one thing: figuring out the direction to walk and finding the next village to sleep in. Nothing else mattered. When your plan is too rigid, there's no space left for magic. Every minute is accounted for, so any unexpected turn feels like a failure. But with no plan, life begins to flow. Things unfold organically, and suddenly, you find yourself amazed.
Thank you so much.
Buon Camino.
Buen camino.
In Camino. Thank you, my friend.
Have a good trip.
Thank you.
Gracias.
I came here in the depths of winter. Snow was all over the ground. This path was treacherous, a solid sheet of ice. There weren't that many people, and there weren't that many on the terraces. I don't remember. On this journey, I was averaging 25 to 35 kilometers a day, and somehow, it felt right. I'd set out in the dark, a headlamp guiding my way half an hour before dawn. And I'd wrap up just as the last light faded, half an hour after sunset. Walking the Camino de Santiago, I wandered through dozens of towns and tiny villages, from hamlets with just a handful of houses to ancient medieval cities with stone bridges, grand arches, and homes draped in ivy. Every single one had its own unique soul, its own distinct feeling. After 30 days on the trail, it becomes crystal clear what kind of environment truly suits you, where you can breathe freely and imagine building a life, and where you just want to turn and leave. One particularly powerful lesson was the city of León. In its heart stands a stunning church that radiates this incredibly warm, positive energy. The area around it too, the people who gather there, their general mood. Everything combines to tell you, unmistakably, that you're in a good place. But then, I walked further and entered an industrial district. It was full of these bleak prefabs. On one side, the view was dominated by a factory. On the other, what amounted to be a scrapyard. I saw people walking by who seemed to carry this aura of anger. There was no connection to be made. I felt no desire to interact with anyone there at all. The moment I left that area behind and stepped into the open fields, you know what I did? I just collapsed onto the grass and messaged my wife. I started describing everything I was feeling, everything that was happening inside me. I lay there, arms spread wide, even in the cool air, and just soaked in the sheer bliss of being free from that city. Wow, this is pure joy. As I continue walking, a village seems to welcome me in, almost like it's inviting me to lunch. Cows grazing, horses roaming, everyone looks truly happy, at peace, and in that moment, it dawns on me. Where we live follows a kind of formula.
Meat for all the people of the world.
Our surroundings shape us, and once you understand where your heart truly feels light, you can change your life for the better. I've known many people who transformed their lives once they realized they were living in a system that didn't align with who they are. The Camino reaffirms something essential. My perfect home must be deeply intertwined with nature. Nature has always been magical to me. That connection began in childhood, a powerful, lasting bond. Later, I built a business, but I lived in Kiev's Soviet-era apartment blocks. First, Khrushchev-era blocks, then Stalin-era buildings, before finally moving to downtown Miami. And then, at a certain point, I felt this strong pull back to the things I'm genuinely passionate about, the things that light me up. That energy directly shaped my business, guiding me into the world of eco-friendly development. These days, I focused my investments on projects that truly benefit both people and the planet. Even my YouTube channel, which is all about travel, ultimately leads to the same place: breathtaking natural landscapes. Seriously, no matter what I do, it always circles back to nature. And I truly believe that these profound shifts in perspective are exactly what the Camino de Santiago offers. Everyone walks away with their own unique revelations. Hi, pigs. Hello, hello. If you had this picture in your head that the Camino de Santiago is just one long, beautiful walk in the park, wandering through charming little towns and pretty landscapes, let me shatter that illusion right now. This journey from the south of France to Santiago de Compostela forces you to cross mountain ranges 3 separate times, with climbs hitting anywhere from 1,300 meters up to over 1,500. Fog. Okay, so right now, I'm at 1,505 meters, I think. Anyway, it's definitely 1.5 kilometers straight up. And the very first thing every pilgrim learns, pain. Your feet will hurt. Every single person's do.
Oh my God. Wow. It's incredible.
We all tried it. Cooling gels, ice baths, every kind of blister patch you can imagine. Massages, and yeah, sometimes even trading massages with other pilgrims. Challenge number 2, the backpack from hell. The backpack weighs 8 kilograms. Every pilgrim makes the same mistake at first. You overpack because, hey, it's a long journey, better safe than sorry. But then you quickly learn to ditch a few kilos along the way. Here's a funny one. I started with this glass bottle my wife gave me. So thoughtful, but so heavy. I carried it for ages, drank from it. Then it hit me that this pack needs to be lighter. So I ended up giving away 5 or 6 of my t-shirts to a hostel owner.
This one.
Perfect. Patagonia.
Lesson learned. In the end, I passed that glass bottle on to some fellow walkers. I switched to just a basic half-liter plastic bottle, filling it up from wells as I went. And my giant backpack, it just kept shrinking, getting lighter and lighter. Do you actually need all that stuff on the journey? Absolutely not. I even developed this unique laundry system. I'd get in the shower wearing my t-shirts and socks, wash them with soap right on my body, and then use a hairdryer to dry them off. It worked, and my load kept getting lighter. I've actually compiled all my tips on how to prepare for the Camino, what to put in your backpack, and how to make the road easier into a guide. You'll find the link in the description below. You can definitely count some hostels and albergues among the challenges, particularly on a winter Camino. The stay is usually very inexpensive, which means you often get what you pay for. No linen. Okay then, looks like I'm sleeping in my clothes tonight. And no towel either. So, post-shower, I'll be using this to dry off. Some places didn't provide blankets, even with sub-zero temperatures outside at night. Other spots had heating issues. But here's the thing. These hardships stop feeling like hardships when you're walking with intention and an open heart.
Hello again.
Hello again.
So I met this amazing couple on the Camino. They were hiking with a stroller and their 1-year-old baby who was barely even walking yet. Remember, the Camino isn't some smooth asphalt road. Sometimes, it's a raw, unpaved trail cutting through rocky little canyons you have to navigate. Taking a stroller through that terrain should be impossible. Yet somehow, they were managing 20 to 30 kilometers a day with a stroller.
You go fast.
Hey guys, we are Dan and Katie from The Road Chose Me. Believe it or not, we are in Iceland. We are exploring the top end of Australia.
Yeah, I think a huge part of the motivation was proving to ourselves that we could still do hard things with a baby and that we could still do these types of adventures, these big adventures. And people talk a lot about, how it's a spiritual pursuit. And I guess retrospectively, I do think that it kind of made me appreciate what deep work it is to be a parent and how challenging it is and also how beautiful it is.
So it was an amazing classroom to have Aurora in. She would sit in her stroller every day just kind of like this, like singing or bobbing her head along as we're like talking about whatever we were seeing around us.
Yeah.
it was just a fantastic way to spend time together as a family and do something beautiful.
People talk a lot about love on the Camino, and I think that that simplicity in its rhythms and in what we would do every day, and also in the joys that you find along the way. Sometimes it's just like finding a cool bird or a really peaceful moment at sunrise or sunset. And yeah, I think it just filled me with a lot of gratitude. So absolutely would recommend. And
It made me realize, love truly simplifies this path. What do I mean by love? We all walk to Santiago with intentions. But if you're here to actually change your life, to figure out your purpose, then this isn't a vacation. It's not just hiking and selfies. And once that clicks, all the problems, and there will be problems, just don't feel like problems anymore. So, you're limping, you're drenched, you've overshot your stage, you're hungry, it's Sunday and Spain is closed, you're handed spoiled food, but you don't rage, you don't overthink, you just walk, and in the end, a profound sense of happiness quietly finds you.
My name is Owen O'Neill. I'm from the United States, and I'm here to open my heart a little bit more. Buen camino!
I've long held the belief that everyone who crosses our path arrives there for a purpose. But on the Camino de Santiago, this truth resonates with profound clarity. Surrounded by silence, your focus turns inward. And in that space, you start to truly perceive not just yourself, but those walking beside you. Every fellow pilgrim is a teacher. Some impart wisdom through their stories. Others lead quietly by example. Some teach merely by sharing the path. And sometimes, you become the teacher for someone else.
Have a good breakfast and see you soon.
See you later.
Buenos dias.
I think the Camino and the people along the Camino, people like yourself and people like this is a moment, right? There's moments throughout the whole time that they helped in that a lot. Other people can show you parts of yourself that you don't see, you know?
You know, walking Camino, walking itself doesn't mean anything. I don't learn too much story from myself. I've been living with myself for many times. I don't think I can learn anything from myself. But I learn stories from pilgrims like you and anyone else.
Buen camino, hermanos. Buen camino.
That's why I come back Camino over and over again. I wish I can walk Camino every year.
How many times you did it?
This is my sixth.
Sixth Camino?
Yeah.
All right.
One meeting, above all others, remains with me. Olena from Ukraine. We met while she was working at a Pilgrims hostel on the route. Her dream, however, was to build something bigger in the world of travel and tourism.
So when I started the French Way, I had this feeling I was going to meet someone special out there. And honestly, one of the most significant people, one of the real stars of my entire Camino, was Anatoly.
Hitting the road again here with Lena, a fellow traveler from home country.
We only ended up walking together for like 3 days. But the conversations we had were so deep. We just talked about everything. He opened up to me, and I shared my story with him.
She opened up more and more, sharing her ambitions and her plans for the months ahead. And it struck me. I have a family, a business that operates across borders. Our lives are worlds apart. Yet I felt I could share something from my world with her. That perhaps this could help her world turn a new page. Thank you so much.
He was just so inspiring. He told me about the person he was 10 years back and the man he'd become. And it hit me. Wait, so the me I am today is like him from 10 years ago? That means I've got my whole journey ahead of me. I still have these 2 little notes he left me on the Camino. They're right on my desk at home.
This all unfolded in the mountains of the first Galician village. I was at a hotel perched on a mountaintop, and I decided to book that same room for Lena the following night. I left notes for her, gave them to the owner, and told Lena how to get there.
I remember just breaking down crying. I was on the trail, completely wiped, and then I started coming down with something. I could feel the fever setting in. But then I got to my hotel, and there was this bouquet waiting for me. I carried them all the way to Santiago. And those notes, I kept them with me. When you act from a place of love, you don't just transform your own life, you change the whole world around you. And the other one says, dreams really can come true, but you've got to fuel them with action and self-belief. Coming back from the Camino was a turning point for me. Like all those ideas, dreams, and plans, they actually started turning into real steps. And now, I'm actually leading groups on the Camino. I find these amazing people, and together we organize these treks. As a guide, I get to create a little bit of that Camino magic for others.
How does transformation happen? It begins when we move through the world with love and conviction. Waiting for the world to change, or for a savior to transform our lives, I don't put my faith in that. Without our own genuine desire, without the courage to take active steps, nothing shifts. I see a real strength in Lena. I am certain that after this Camino, she will begin a new chapter. She has the power to inspire. I have no doubt that something remarkable is waiting for her. Walking the Camino, you encounter dozens of churches, some ancient, some simple, all profoundly beautiful. I made a point of stepping into many of them, sometimes to admire the sacred space, sometimes to light a candle, whisper a prayer, make an offering, or simply to find a moment's warmth and shelter. There is a saying that on the Camino, even the most committed atheist might find themselves speaking to God. And well, I guess it happened to me. For the first time in my life, I experienced genuine dialogues with God. Not the God of any organized religion, but rather a conversation with something greater. It was a dialogue with nature. Even with so many churches everywhere, the Camino teaches you that you don't need a roof to talk to God. Sometimes, it's enough to just stop in an open field and hug a tree. Or simply fall back into the hay and listen to the quiet inside you. This is bliss. I slipped into meditation right here in the hay, surrounded by nature. It might be cold, but there's a deep peace here, with a church watching over from across the field. The Camino doesn't push religion onto you. It offers you room to pray, or just to be still and meditate. What an incredible day. Look at that sunset. It's wild. I'm in such a vibe right now. I just have to jot my thoughts down. Walking the Camino, I was looking for a new purpose. I dove into different schools of thought, Stoicism, Catholicism, Buddhism, and I remembered all I'd learned from my spiritual practices in India. And I finally understood. The world has thousands of religions and philosophies, but at their heart, they all point to the same thing: love. It's the one true foundation.
Wow.
I started creating love everywhere, almost without knowing why. I began crafting hearts all along my path. From snow and bushes, from grass and sands and stones. I drew them with markers, on seashells. You name it, I probably made a heart out of it. Even after hiking 25, 35 kilometers, when I was completely drained, I forced myself to start making hearts. And every single time, it was like a jolt of energy, a complete reboot for my soul. To define love, to tell you exactly what it is, that's the hard part. I can't just give you a formula. It's not X plus Y equals a specific result. But it is a formula that found its way into my life. And I started applying it everywhere. In my family, in my work. Conflicts just dissolved. I'd say 80–85% of them just faded away. That ego that used to run my life, it shrunk down to almost nothing. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I've become some kind of saint or a perfect selfless monk. That's not it. But if you compare the person I was before this journey to the person I am now, they are two completely different people. I mean, it's true, right? Without love, nothing truly matters. But with love, even a simple dirt path becomes a sacred journey. Good morning, my loves. Maria, Michael, Anna. With love, I wish you a wonderful day. So, now the three of us are doing this. Kiss you. That's another heart for today. Good morning.
Buen camino.
Love, love, love.
Then love.
Before I can share how the Camino reshaped my life, I need to tell you about someone I met along the way. This is Sebastian, a restaurateur from Spain. His story is one of the most inspiring parts of my entire pilgrimage.
Hey!
Our paths crossed, I don't know, 15, 18 times? The first time was in a restaurant. We exchanged a simple buen camino. Back then, the trail was quiet. You'd be lucky to see 10 people in a day. I walked on, and then I saw him again. Another day, another encounter.
Again?
Hey, una más!
No way! How is possible?
Aquí quedamos.
Cool. Buen camino.
Buen camino.
Long story short, we were seeing each other multiple times a day. We discovered we walked at an identical rhythm, following the very same route. We began to journey together, even though I don't speak Spanish and he doesn't speak English. We had no common language to bridge the gap.
In the center, but after, yes, and then the nature. Again.
But we totally got each other. The Camino does that. It's like a language of its own. Today, I'm surprising him. I'm crashing his place, going to his restaurant in Galicia. I'm finally going to see Sebastian again. It's been 6 months. This is his place, Alanzada. It's stunning, right on the ocean front.
Oh, wow. Oh my God.
Grande. Hello, my friend.
Amazing. But I was missing you.
This is truly great.
I have something for you. This is first. and something key. Do you remember all of this? Yeah?
Of course I remember.
We both welled up with tears of joy. It's a feeling that's hard to put into words.
The Camino really changed me. I feel like I grew as a person. Learned to accept things more myself, life, all those everyday hassles. C'est la vie. By the way, that's a phrase I picked up from this Italian guy I met. But with you, talking wasn't even the point. We could just look at one another and instantly understand. I have this vivid memory of you sneaking up on me in a restaurant, covering my eyes and saying, "It's me, Anatoly."
Una ensalada. Señor.
And I remember arriving in Puerto Marin. We were having dinner, and that's the night I told you the story of the Freedom Bell. And you just said, "Sebastian, take me there." So we went. It was so early, 6 a.m., maybe 7. The world was still asleep, and you just started ringing that bell like a man possessed.
Glong, 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 glong.
I'd never experienced anything that powerful.
Puerto Marin.
Puerto Marin. Let's go.
Yo lo hice por dos motivos.
I decided to walk the Camino for 2 reasons, for myself and for my very sick friend back home. I used to talk to him on the phone every single morning. One day, I'd walked about 30 kilometers, and out of nowhere I saw this little chapel. I went inside. Right there, I left behind this one thing I'd been carrying in my wallet for ages. And it was this total liberation. When I walked out, I was happy. I started running. I've just started running from that chapel, must have been a full kilometer. And I didn't even feel the weight of my pack. Then, around the 100-kilometer point, I spotted Anatoly. You were off taking photos. Remember, mate, you saw me sprinting like a madman, and all you could say was, "Are you okay?" But to me, that moment was pure magic. Honestly, the best day of the whole trek.
I can't do this.
It was like happiness just hit me out of nowhere. I finally got it. I understood what this path was all about. Life is truly beautiful. And I'd been having such a hard time before that.
Wow. Joder.
That feeling like I'd finally met the real me, that's why I was running like crazy. I spent so long not knowing who I was. But that day, I found out. And since then, I've never really stopped walking this path. I'm still growing, still working on myself. The Camino, it's something else. It's magic. It's power. I tell everyone who asks me about it. I literally can't shut up about it. There are no words that can really do it justice.
Buen camino!
Setting out on the Camino de Santiago, I knew in my heart it was more than a simple journey. From the very first day, I had this deep sense of anticipation that something significant was on the horizon. I was constantly looking for signs, but life, as it turns out, delivers its most important messages precisely when you stop looking for them. I ended up walking 50 kilometers in one go and followed it with 30 or 35 the next day. My leg was in agony, completely swollen. Just before I started, a guide I met in Barcelona shared his story. I walked 50 kilometers once, and my leg was so sore, I was laid up for a full day.
So I ended up covering 2 stages in a single day, 50 kilometers. Just take it easy, guys. Seriously, resting is key.
I distinctly remember my internal reaction. Avoid walking 50 kilometers at all costs. And then, I took a wrong turn and somehow managed to walk that exact dreaded distance. My foot was so swollen. I practically stumbled into the closest hotel I could find. The place was called the Monastery. And that turned out to be more than just a name. This was an actual 10th century monastery. So completely by accident, I'd found shelter in the same place pilgrims have for centuries, seeking forgiveness, healing, and a place to rest. Ice the ankle. Fingers crossed it helps. Stuck in this hotel, I had zero plans. But being immobile, every single thought I'd been carrying around just had to go somewhere. It all flowed out through this pen I found on the desk and onto a scrap of paper. I started writing down who I am. I began remembering things from my childhood, like how obsessed I was with geography. I even beat my own geography teacher at Name the Most Cities when I was like in 1st grade. The memory hit me, winning that national prize in history and geography, which earned me a tuition-free place at Kiev University. I also remembered meeting this fascinating person after I finished school. He told me, "Anatoly, you are a writer." And I was like, me? A writer? I was training to be a lawyer. My mind then went to the spiritual retreats I'd attended. This entire recollection unfolded over a whole day. I began to just draw and write on that piece of paper, remembering everything. And it all transformed into a formula. This formula is the understanding of who I am at my core, and what actually generates a state of happiness for me. It's what I could do 24/7, day after day, and never get bored. These are patterns that began forming in my childhood, and this isn't a formula that can be imposed on you. Not by an education system, not by a career, and not by a business venture. It's what has always made you feel joy. You might have just overlooked it. That childhood fascination with maps evolved into a profound passion for travel. I discovered that I only feel I'm truly living when I'm journeying. On the road, everything falls into place. My schedule, my diet, my exercise. But at home, it all just goes on standby. This past year, I've been on roughly 50 flights. The list includes Singapore, Santiago de Chile, Rio, Tbilisi, Toronto, London, Paris, Easter Island, the Azores, Costa Rica, and the journey continues. That early passion for geography naturally evolved into my business. I left the traditional office behind. My office is the globe itself. I immersed myself in vexillology, the study of flags, and now I empower people to obtain second citizenship and the freedom to explore our planet. So, where does the writer fit into this formula? I came to understand that my writing is filmmaking. It began in 2011, filming my own wedding. And even earlier when I documented my Las Vegas bachelor party on a film camera. Not even a digital one. I simply loved the process. Eventually, I started leveraging video for my business. If I'm honest, about 70% of the films I made were primarily a growth strategy for my company. Who was I then? A businessman. I hired teams. I managed operations. I dove headfirst into that world. And while the management side could be tedious, I could have happily worked on YouTube content 24/7. But I never paused to ask the crucial question, what should I truly do with this passion? It wasn't until my journey on the Camino, of writing my life formula, that I had my epiphany. The key is to devote yourself to what you love unconditionally. For me, that's creating films. My content used to focus almost exclusively on business and commerce. Now, everything is different. Today, my videos are moving in an eco direction. They're about nature, about learning to live in harmony with our environment. My content revolves around love and my family. That includes my son, who might just be a star in the making. Only time will tell. I also discuss business, though from a new perspective. It's less about profit margins and more about building projects infused with love and respect for our planet. I genuinely enjoy sharing my personal journey and the lessons I've learned, like my experience walking the Camino de Santiago. Why do I share this? So that my story might inspire you in some way. Whether you're a parent, an entrepreneur, or someone seeking change and new purpose. I walked the Camino in search of meaning. It didn't offer easy answers, but it guided me toward love. Initially, I poured that love outward to others. It was only when the Camino literally brought me to a halt that I learned, truly, how to turn that love inward. The journey taught me a vital lesson. Stop wasting time on things you don't love. Focus only on what brings you pure joy. That's when life gains real meaning, and that's when miracles begin to unfold. The day after this realization, this formula expanded in my mind. I began collecting seashells, inscribing fragments of this philosophy onto them, and leaving them in spots that moved me deeply. This is what I wrote. We all experience these extraordinary turning points on our own paths. I see it as keeping a valuable diary of your journey. Whether it's shells, a notebook, or something else entirely, everyone finds their own medium. But the act of keeping that record is, I believe, a profoundly useful practice.
Buen camino.
Gracias.
Buen camino.
So, this is it. Santiago de Compostela. Still have another 38 kilometers to go. Well, Godspeed, Anatoly. I can't believe it. I'm seeing this guy again. What are the odds?
Oh my God.
One of the most powerful moments for me on the entire Camino was finally walking into Santiago de Compostela. The sun's coming up, but the moon's still out. Such a beautiful morning. This was day 27 of my walk, and I swear, I never been so pumped about every little kilometer sign and trail marker in my life. Each one was like a high five. You're getting so close, man.
Sure.
16 kilometers to Santiago de Compostela. I was moving so fast. It was like I tapped into some hidden reserve, like this invisible force was just pushing me toward the finish line, toward the city of Santiago de Compostela. Oh my God. I made it. I can still vividly remember standing here 6 months ago, worn out, but deeply happy. This place wasn't just the finish line. It felt like a letting go, a farewell to all the old habits, my old ways of thinking, the life I'd been living, to my former self. And now, after half a year, I've returned to the Cathedral of St. James. had no idea the tears would come like this. This is truly the start of a new chapter. 6 months later, and I still don't get how this magic works. It was right here that my whole life seemed to make sense. Everything I'd done, the choices I made, where they had led me. And right now, I feel this incredible surge of emotion, like I've been thrown back in time to this very moment 6 months ago. Unbelievable. I don't even remember the last time I cried like this. Just wow. And in that instant, it all flooded back, walking for an entire month through whatever weather came. Snow, rain, storms. Those freezing nights in hostels, the ache of carrying that enormous pack, the swelling in my feet after pushing 50 kilometers in a single day. My mind drifted back to all the fellow travelers. The guy from Taiwan, the one from South Korea, Olena from Ukraine. How I kept miraculously crossing paths with Sebastian day after day for 18 days. How I felt a love for nature, for others, and for myself reawaken inside me. How I finally grasped who I was and what I needed to be happy. I was reliving the exact emotions I felt 6 months ago at this cathedral in Santiago de Compostela. My foot stopped hurting. My entire mood transformed. I had this crazy new energy, something cosmic. This is truly a sacred place. A place of real power. Right there on these steps, it hit me. The Camino wasn't finished. My real journey was just kicking off. New habits, new mindset, a whole new life. I started moving forward as a new person. I headed out to where the land ends, literally the end of the world, a spot called Finisterre, about 100 kilometers past Santiago de Compostela. I had another 3 days of hiking ahead, but it was the best way to make it all stick. Because finding your purpose is one thing, but actually living it, that's the whole point. People used to think this was where the world literally ended. After this, just ocean, nothing else. Here, on the edge of the Atlantic, the Camino de Santiago truly ends for those seeking not just the tomb of a saint, but the depths of their own soul. There it is, the lighthouse. Only 300 meters to go. Oh my God. I vividly remember writing down my love formula. That paper where I spelled out what my life means, who I am. And 6 months later, things started shifting. In my family, my business, even how happy I feel day to day. How much I'm actually doing what I want. How real that love feels. So many old habits that held me back. ones I didn't like before, ones where I was in some kind of wrong state, not the right mood, simply faded after this pilgrimage. I'm not completely free of them, but nothing has ever reshaped my life as deeply as the Camino.
Спасибо тебе, Господи.
Thank you, God, for making everything come together in such an amazing way. I'm living my new life formula now. It's pure joy. The Camino de Santiago changed me, and that change inspired others. It started a ripple effect. 6 months later, my friends, my team, my wife, and even my son walked it too. Now, the Camino is part of their story too. You know they're gonna tell it. You'll get the full story in the next video. Love, Anatoly Letaev.